How's it going, guys? Welcome back to MTG Ownage. We're here to talk about Core 2021 spoilers. Now, this is a bit unprecedented, if you ask me, because they skipped a few generations, we'll say, when they went to Core 2020, and they actually made the set just a bomb set. Core 2020 introduced some new cards that are really good, and now they're doing it again with Core 2021. I don't know how I feel about this. I guess I honestly feel like the set should be a tiny bit weaker, but let's talk about, well, I guess just some of the mythics. Let's go to the mythics here, and let's just start there. You all know they're reprinting Ugin. He's going to dominate standard. Yet again, it's pretty easy to get to 8 mana, but now we get these special Ugin cards, and we're going to get we're going to get all the special ones, of foil, full art, all the way to the border. It's going to be worth a lot. I guess he's been in a lot of sets. It's not that unusual that he's being reprinted. But we're also getting a new Garruk. I wish I could blow this up a little bit so you could see it better on the screen. Maybe I can do this. This is a bit of a live cast video, so no editing here. Yeah, he only costs 4. That's a really nice price for a planeswalker. And you can giant growth with trample for this +1. That's pretty good. You can get a beast. And it could potentially put 1 loyalty counter on him. So this could just be a -1. And it's -7. At the beginning of your end step, search your library for a creature card, put it onto the battlefield. So this is a pretty good, for any aggro deck. He's just going to keep it coming, which is what Garruk should be at this point. We've got a new Chandra, and she offers some nice utility. A 5 mana casting cost Chandra allows you to discard your hand and then potentially play the top 3 of your library until the end of turn. So great when you're out of gas. Probably going to go really good with red aggro. You hit 5 mana, you're out of everything else because you've cast it all. And then you basically get 3 new cards every turn as long as they don't kill her. You can also +1 her up to shock something. And her -9, which she's going to get there unless your opponent is trying to stop her. She has no other negatives. Search your library for any instant or sorcery spells, any amount of instant or sorceries, and you cast them this turn. You also get 6 red mana. This is pretty darn good. That's a lot of damage. So she's really going to close out the game unless your opponent has something that is really shutting you down hard. Alright, let's talk about this new Liliana a little bit. Another pretty cheap, 4 CMC planeswalker. Each player discards a card, is her +1. And opponents lose 3 life if they can't. Her -3 is target creature gets -X until the end of the turn, where that's the number of cards in your graveyard. I don't know. I think she's the weaker of the planeswalkers so far. She's not bad. She's just not all that great either. And her -7, you get an emblem with, at the beginning of combat on your turn, put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. It gains haste. I really like this. It's just so hard to get to. You have to hit that +1 a lot, and you're going to discard your whole hand on the way. I'm not sure. I don't think she's all that strong, but she's at least kind of cool. And let's see. We also have Teferi, Master of Time. Yet another Teferi. If you've watched any of my other videos, you probably know I'm not a big fan of Teferi. I think it's a really annoying. Just the whole you're not allowed to play Magic is really annoying. Okay, so it says you may activate loyalty abilities of Teferi, Master of Time, on any player's turn anytime you could cast an instant. So that's pretty game breaking. Normally you can only activate planeswalkers as a sorcery, so let's you do it as an instant, which allows you to respond to things. He's got a sift, draw, discard, not that big of a deal for instant speed. But also he's got a -3 to phase something out. Oh yeah, that's another thing. They're bringing back phasing. Is this Teferi? Is this a new Teferi? I don't know. I thought he was new, but I'm seeing previous expansions here. I don't remember seeing Teferi in this Teferi in Dominaria. No, I don't think so. I'm not sure what this previous expansion means anymore, honestly. No, I don't know. I have to look. I haven't seen this one before. Is he new? Let me just open a new window and search him. Teferi, Master of Time. No, he's only in 2021. I was pretty sure that was the case. Then what the heck is this previous? What are you doing on your website telling people there's previous expansions with the guard when there's not? Designs of websites are really annoying me, and software in general. All right. Well, his -10 is take 2 extra turns. You could potentially do that as an instant too. Pretty good. Pretty good. And let's look at the last Planeswalker, Basri Ket. A legendary Planeswalker for 3 mana. These 3 mana ones are usually the big ones because they're so easy to get out there on the board at nice tempo. And let's see, his +1 is put a +1/+1 counter on one target creature, gains indestructible until the end of turn. Pretty good for little white aggro decks. And to proliferate, it works really well with proliferate too. Whenever one or more is okay, let's continue on. Is -2. Whenever one or more non-token creatures attack this turn, you get that many white soldier creature tokens that are tapped and attacking. This notably works really well with things like Winota, because these aren't human soldiers, they're just soldiers. So you get more of a Winota procs. And as -6, you get an emblem with at the beginning of combat on your turn. Create a soldier, then put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Pretty nice emblem there. I think Basri Ket has the potential to hold some games in lockdown. So that's the mythics that have been spoiled, if I'm not mistaken. Is that what the symbol is? Let's take a look at the lands. We've got all the temples coming back. Some decent art on these lands. Nothing really that special. All the tap lands coming back again. Here's the new ones. Fabled Passage. Well, not new, but you know, it's a reprint from Throne of Eldraine. Pretty nice, because this card was pretty highly sought after and just keeps going up in value. So this is going to give people an opportunity to pick it up from yet another set. Just having the same card in 2 places in the block at once is always weird to me personally, so I don't agree with the reprint because of that, but it's still nice nonetheless. We got an Animal Sanctuary for bird, cat, dog, goat, ox, or snake creatures, and just directly +1/+1 counter, not until the end of turn or anything like that. This is actually a really nice land. I think this land is going to stand the test of time. We're going to see some play. Hope you guys can read this. I can zoom in a little bit more. Animal Sanctuary, and we also have a Radiant Fountain, which is, yeah, relatively a garbage card. Gaining a little life doesn't matter really too much, and it's just taps for colorless. So nothing. I don't think there's anything too big on the lands. Let's see what this cup symbol is. I guess it's the colorless cards. Yeah. So of course we got Ugin. And we have this Chromatic Orrery, which costs 7 to drop, and it taps for 5 generic mana, but you can spend mana as though it were any color. So it's like the Chromatic Orb, but now it's different. Okay, so you can pay 5, tap it, draw a card for each color among the permanents you control, potentially drawing 5 cards. Pretty cool. Bit steep on the cost. Probably not going to see a whole lot of play because of that. Maybe in some certain control decks or something. I don't know. Reprint of Solemn Simulacrum, and yeah, I don't know what else is really worth talking about specifically. A lot of pretty cool cards. Idol of Endurance lets you recast all your small creatures from your yard. Kind of a substitute for Luris, I think. Not super great though, because it doesn't really do much the turn you come out. It comes out unless you have a ton of mana. It might see some play. Maze Mine Tome does some scrying, does some drawing. It can only do it 4 times though before it gets exiled and gains life. I don't know. It's pretty cheap to bring out though. could potentially draw you 4 cards. So pretty good for 2 mana if you ask me. The 2 on the activation draw is not too bad. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this card. I feel like it's going to see some play though. It's pretty cool. Interesting that they chose to exile rather than sacrifice it. So they really don't want you to loop this card. Alright, Solemn Simulacrum, you know what he does. Cool that he's getting a reprint. He's just highly played in things like Commander. Spark Hunter Masticore, we get another Masticore. And, of course, you got a discard. He's a 3/4 for 3. He's got protection from Planeswalkers. He can hit Planeswalkers for 1 mana. And he can be indestructible. So it's going to be really nice at taking out those pesky Planeswalker decks. And the rest are uncommons. I'm not sure if there's any big ones. We're seeing a reprint of Tormod's Crypt. That's kind of nice. A reprint of Palladium Mirror. Meteorite, 5 mana to drop 2 damage. Probably not going to see much play. Short Sword. Wow. And we see some other just little utility artifacts. Nothing super big. Curious to see if this Replicator will get any play. Or if this Witch's Cauldron will get any play. It might. This Witch's Cauldron is not too bad. Drawing a card's pretty nice. Some decks just have plenty of sack outlets, so they can take nice advantage of that. And you can sack the creature in response to it dying anyway. So Witch's Cauldron is probably going to see some play. And 5 for a double 4/4 is pretty nice. Alright, let's move on. We'll go to this. Whatever this symbol is, this little... I don't even know what it means. It's just like a little radiant sun thing. And I guess it's the rares? I'm not sure. But Fiery Emancipation is something worth talking about. It's an enchantment, and it makes all your sources deal triple damage, which is pretty nutty. We got Glorious Anthem reprint. We got a 9 lives enchantment. Stops the next 9 sources of damage, if I'm understanding that correct. And when it leaves play, you lose the game. I don't think this is that great, honestly. It could be really good if you drop it when you're like 1 or 2 HP life, because it can save you. But it's kind of a last-ditch effort sort of card, not necessarily a game winner. Unless you can bounce it and recast it, then it's pretty good. And we got a protection from a card name, Ruined Halo. That's pretty good. And a lot of others. Anything else worth mentioning? We've got a 5 CMC, 1 of each color, Sanctum of All. Beginning of your upkeep, you may search your library or graveyard for a shrine card and put it onto the battlefield. So opening the shrine deck utility. If an ability of another shrine you control triggers while you have 6 or more shrines, that ability triggers an additional time, so it's going to double up your shrines too. Pretty cool card. Probably not going to see any play in constructed, well, or sealed rather. But you know, I'll be curious to see if anyone makes any decks around this that are actually good. It's going to be hard. It's going to be real difficult. It's not a very good card. It doesn't seem like anyway. Double Vision. And another enchantment. We're seeing a lot of enchantments. I guess this symbol means enchantment. That's what I'm gathering here. Whenever you cast your first instant or sorcery each turn, you may copy it. Pretty cool. Just imagine Fiery Emancipation and Double Vision being in play at the same time. Your next spell basically ends your opponent. It's a win the game type of scenario there. We have a Demonic Embrace enchantment aura. Gives creature +3/+1, flying a demon, and makes it a demon in addition to its other types. You may cast Demonic Embrace from your graveyard by paying 3 life and discarding the card. So just something that's going to keep coming back and buffing your creatures. Pretty cool. Teferi's Ageless Insight doubles up all your additional draw spells. So except for your first one, anytime you draw a card each turn, you get to draw 2 cards. So that's very nice for 4 mana. And the rest we're getting into the uncommons and the commons. Not going to go through all those because that'll take forever. But let's see, is there anything super important? There's this big shrine add mana, so that might go along with the Sanctum of All. We have enough shrines, we could get tons of free mana every turn. Yeah, some interesting things could happen with all these shrines. And let's see, are we seeing anything else super important? I don't know. Some of those are okay. Let's take a look at this. I'm guessing this is sorceries. Yep, we're seeing a Grim Tutor, which is basically demonic tutor that makes you lose 3 life. And Peer into the Abyss is pretty interesting. It's 7 mana. And apparently the rule of recording for me is my phone goes off every time I hit record. Yeah, I'm not real keen on anything here. We do see this 12 casting cost volcanic salvo sorcery, which is pretty interesting. Cost X less, where X is total power of creatures you control. So this could potentially cost just 2 mana, deal 6 damage on up to 2 creatures or planeswalkers. I don't think that's going to see much play, but it's at least interesting. And let's see, Necromentia. I don't think this is super good. And you just get to dig through someone's hand and library and remove all of something that you name. Bazar's Celerity is kind of cool. Let's see the truth. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of those into your hand, the rest on the bottom. If this spell were cast from anywhere other than your hand, put those cards all into your hand. So this is something that's going to be really nice to flash back somehow and get 3 cards for 2 mana. You can do that with like the little Chandra from Core 20. Cultivate, getting a reprint. Seeing an Experimental Overload. Yeah, a bunch of stuff. I'm not going to read all these. But some interesting new cards. And I think this is going to be instants. Yeah. We're seeing a reprint of Heroic Intervention, a Sublime Epiphany, 6 mana, does all sorts of things. Discontinuity, which is super cheap to cast if it's your turn, and it just ends the turn. So ending the turn immediately is basically a counter spell. It's kind of hard to use sometimes, but if things are on the stack, they get exiled, effectively countering whatever is set up to be going off next. We got a Rewind reprint. I'm happy to see that. I love this card. It's very cool. We're seeing another 1 mana potential counter for instants or sorceries. Pretty neat. Brain of Relevation. Draw 3, discard. 4 mana. Not super good, but we're seeing some cheap removal. A lot of other volcanic guys are nice. A lot of little things. I don't know if there's something super important to mention here, but there's the commons that have been spoiled. Pretty cool stuff. Common instance, that is. Alright, so here are the creatures. We're seeing a Baneslayer Angel, Majera the Diplomat, who's going to be pretty fun, especially in group games. A Massacre Worm. Interesting card. This new dragon, Terror of the Peaks, seems pretty strong. Elder Gargaroth, pretty cheap for a 6/6, does a lot of stuff. I think Elder Gargaroth is a very strong creature. Got Ren and Siri, the dog cat, for those dog cat decks. Basiri's Lieutenant seems okay, a little expensive, but protection from multicolor, vigilance, enters the battlefield, you get a +1/+1 counter on something. And if anything dies, you get if it had a +1/+1 counter on it, you get a Knight with vigilance, Containment Priest. Pretty nice for shutting down some of those Reanimator decks, and it has flash, so you can surprise people with it. A Surprise Pack Leader Dog, pretty nice for the casting cost. Speaker of the Heavens, a 1 mana 1/1 with Vigilance Lifelink. Tap to create an angel. Activate only if you have 7 more than your starting life total as a sorcery. I think this guy will see some play. He's pretty cool. The old Speaker of the Heavens. We're seeing Baron Talarian Archmage, who can bounce something, a creature or planeswalker, when he enters the battlefield. So he's going to be a nice flicker target. Beginning of your end step. If a permanent was put into your hand from the battlefield this turn, draw a card. So a lot of flicker and bounce advantage with Baron. And I don't know if any of these others are worth mentioning. Let's see, this guy allows you to draw cards, can be unblocked by discarding cards. Cheap little weenie with some utility. And we're seeing a Karavek reprint. I don't think it's a reprint, but he just gives all other creatures -1, -1. Not a super big deal, really. Not sure he'll see a whole lot of play. He's a little expensive, and he hurts your stuff. So yeah, let's see what else. We got an indestructible goblin that just beats things up and does a lot of damage and can fight any amount of damage that's dealt to him. He does to target opponent, and he can fight things, and he's indestructible. Pretty interesting little creature. Be curious to see if he gets used much. Scavenging Ooze getting a reprint. They're really putting in some graveyard hate here. Jorale, I'm not sure how to say that. Mwampi Recluse. You get cats whenever you draw your second card each turn. And you can buff things equal to the number of cards in your hand. Azusa, Lost But Seeking, a nice classic reprint. Allows you to play additional lands. Here's another dragon I kind of missed. Can't attack unless you control 4 or more artifacts. At the beginning of your end step, you create an artifact or treasure for each non-token creature that died this turn. So pretty cheap. He can at least block. I think this Gadrak's going to see some play. He's just so cheap, and he's got the utility. Alright, there's a lot of others. Just a few others worth talking about, I think. Got another creature that allows you to play cards from the top of your library. Well, lands from the top of your library, which is always nice. Pretty interesting set. We're seeing a lot of new stuff. And last but not least, I'm going to talk about some of these gold cards. Let's see, is there anything really worth talking about? Niambi, Esteemed Speaker. I haven't really read this card yet. Let's see, what does it do? When it enters the battlefield, you return another creature you control to its owner's hand. If you do, gain life equal to that creature's converted mana cost. Okay, and you can discard a legend to draw 2 cards. It has flash as well. I'm not sure. Not that. It doesn't seem that great. Alright, but we are seeing some other new cards like Indulging Patrician, Lifelink Flyer. Nothing super great there. Yeah, and we can look at individual colors. There's some cards that aren't on here that I know are in the set, so this isn't a full spoiler apparently. Okay, there's all the green stuff. I'm just going to flip through the last things before calling it a video. I was hoping to do this when they were done with the spoilers, but we'll have to wait and see. You can pause it if you want to look at any of these, or just go to this website. I'm trying to at least sit on each page for a second here. Oh, I can switch at the bottom too. That's kind of nice. Okay. I feel like blue is getting the strongest of the cards here. This is better. And there we go. Or no, flip down here, hit the white, and last but not least, I don't know, let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this set. Maybe we can start some conversation. Should I make any specific videos about any certain decks that are probably going to be upcoming, or big cards that are going to be game changers? I don't know. This is probably going to be it for the Core 2021 spoilers, unless something big comes out. Thanks for watching MTG Ownage. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It does help and mean a lot. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.